Hi, my name is Gabriel and I'm a game developer. I just released my first game and I'm showcasing all that I've learned so far and my progress with other games, currently with my second game that I'm making. This is actually the second intro of the current video. Why? Because this is the second video of the series. And the first video was so bad I'm not gonna release it because I was getting used to the camera and everything, so I'm not gonna release that one. I did say some important stuff in the first video. It doesn't even matter because probably no one's gonna watch this one either. And yeah, I'm in short making my mobile games. I'll try to make them as fast as possible to be at least a little bit profitable. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Morning. Yesterday I was stuck. I couldn't even make my character move, and I just figured out the solution. In my player controller I've set up the input to UI only and user interface only, and that means that if you have your store page open in front of you, or main page, main menu, where you can click a play button or quit or I don't know, volume up and down, you limit yourself only to that input, which I knew, but I forgot that I set up the UI only blueprint a few days ago, and now I've changed it. You have two other options. Can you hear me? Yeah. Set input mode game only and set input mode game and UI. And you should go look up the difference between those two, or those three actually. And now my character moves. It works. Not as intended, which I'm gonna show you now. But we'll fix that. I've been trying to fix the input so it works like this now, but I believe I could change it later. So there's an X, or maybe this is an X axis, X and Y axis here, and like simple math, and you would think if I move my cursor up or down, the player would go up and down, but it doesn't work like that, because now I've just set it up to add controller jaw input, and maybe I could change something. I'm not completely sure, but it works like this. When I go up, the player rotates in a clockwise manner, and vice versa in counterclockwise when I go down. And this is actually y-axis in this case, and it doesn't do anything. This is not what I wanted to do, but I'm just testing stuff, and I just gotta say, this is the feeling that you get is incredible, even after many years of working to just write some code and the player moves. It's amazing, especially when the first time you're gonna do it, you're gonna fly, literally. Amazing. Yeah, it works. And most people won't even understand like what's going on. When they play the game, they think, okay, the character is standing still and moving in the direction that my thumb is going, but in a real sense, not really, because what I just made was I left the part of the code where the character was moving around, and I just made him look in the direction that he's moving. It worked well, and all I had to do was limit his movement speed to 0. So he cannot move from this point, and I didn't do anything else to rotate him or orient him in the right direction. My bad. And it works. Yeah. The simpler I can make it, the better, because I don't want to spend too much time on anything, because I want to release as many games as possible. And the only problem that I can see with this is how do I make him rotate faster. Well, that was pretty simple. There's a rotation setting, rotation rate, X, Y, and Z axis, and the default is set to 360 degrees, and it actually says degrees, so I was a bit confused, but that just means the player can turn 360 in 1 second, or yeah, a full circle in 1 second. So when I increased the number to, let's say, 1500, yeah, now it works fine. Awesome. I was so tilted the whole day. I didn't want to film anything because I was stuck at something so simple. I wanted to make my projectile move in the direction of my character, and it just didn't want to work. I mean, yeah, and it is so simple, but there are so many options to choose, and you just gotta click one by one and see if any of them work. The way I tried it was I get my projectile location and I get my character location, and I did some math. I did a lot of it. I mean, I tried everything that I that came to my mind, and I just like set that output to the velocity, and it should work. It should work, but it did not work, and it's 8:40 p.m. right now. It works. And it's got some bounciness and physics in it. I mean, it's so simple, but when you spend so much time on it and it actually works, it's amazing. The only problem now is the projectile is always spawning here, and I'm still not sure how to fix that, but once I randomize the projectile around the character, the velocity doesn't work. It just goes, like, it spins around or goes it never goes to the character. I'm still not sure how to fix that, but we'll see. Progress, movement, finally. Oh man, feels nice. I was too tired yesterday and I didn't want to film anything, and I'm glad I didn't, because I thought everything worked fine and we can move along, but it does not. These kind of problems are just stupid. So somehow I managed to, I managed to make my random location of the projectile work. Fine. Awesome. but the movement of the projectile is based on the physics inside of it. And now when I have when I want to make some collision, so when the projectile touches the character, something happens. I cannot have that because I get an error. It says something like you need to enable physics. Okay, I go in the settings and I see that it's enabled. Great. I play again, same error. So it says that I should enable physics, the physics are enabled, and what then? You spend time like tinkering these little options. Some might work, sometimes you never know. So I go back to the first like option that did not work. Was not the thing that worked. Was I set up the physics linear velocity, so it doesn't make the projectile move in a certain velocity like this. It's more like a push. So the projectile, my ball is here, and on event start the projectile is gonna be pushed in the direction you want it to move. And because of that, then I went back to the first option where the ball just moves in a certain direction, which I like. Why does it not work? I mean, I do not understand. You have the same, it's the same vector. Vector is an x, y, and z axis. So you make it move in a certain direction, x1, z0, and y 0.5, and it will move in a certain direction. So I gave it the same vector, same variable inside, the same, nothing changes, and it does not move. Why? I don't know. And Gemini can go you know what I mean, and useless. He is useless. I mean, then I just stopped and went back to the basics, how I learned everything in the first place. I searched on YouTube. This guy is a genius. I do not know where does he learn this stuff. Probably like a lot of trial and error. His name is Matthew, yeah, Vedstein Tutorials. When you type like a certain subject on YouTube, and you'll probably see his videos, but he's mostly Unreal Engine 4. And when I first started, I did not like see him, sadly, because every time I wanted to search for something, I searched Unreal Engine 5, and basically it's the same thing. Mostly they changed some stuff, but he explains every single component. In this case, which I searched now, was projectile movement component. His videos are from 5 minutes to 20 minutes long, approximately, maybe even more sometimes, and it's gold, literal gold. It's insane. He always puts the same headline, WTF, and now I'm pronouncing that wrong, but in my language it's said like that. WTF is, and then the subject, projectile movement component, and he just explains everything in there. If you ever get stuck on something, just type in on YouTube him, because I did not want to film this now. My reaction to this, but I just have to. You would think that Unreal Engine has some certain like web page and all of its documentation right there. And it does. And it's useless. Like, how is someone supposed to learn this stuff? How is he learning this stuff? It's insane. There are like certain objects. He said something like, if you, for example, in projectile movement, there's a certain option called homing or something like that. Yeah, I cannot find it here now. I hope. Oh yeah, homing, yeah, it's there. And of course I did not research it earlier, and I vaguely know the idea, but I was like, okay, I'm not gonna use it. Why? Because when you click on it, when you enable it, it does not work. It does nothing. Why? Why? And then you go back to his video and he tells you why, because you need to add it and you cannot just enable, add. No, there's a serious like process you have to follow for it to be enabled in your project. And in the documentation of Unreal Engine, of Epic Games Studio, there's nothing. You just get like you get one paragraph of what it is. A projectile movement component updates the position of another component during its tick, and something like more. It doesn't explain. Like, he actually says, if you enable this option, then later in the physics department that's gonna be disabled, because they cannot like work in I don't know the word. You know what I want to say. So yeah, basically, like I just saw that there's that option, homing. I'll try to enable it, because if that works and it's like optimized, I have 2% battery on my camera. If that works, then all I have to do was I don't have to get actor location and calculate like vectors and something. I hate that. You would think that it's also as simple as adding like location and move from this location to that location, but it's not. You have to do some math calculation and I don't know. And the worst part is it's vectors. And in addition to that, it's not only vectors, it's all of these like game engines systems, like normalize a random unit vector, then you multiply it and then add it with that vector. Like, it's insane. And the worst part is, in college, before I dropped out, I passed this subject. I just want to swear. I passed this subject. I vaguely know what's going on, and I hated it then and I hate it now for this particular reason. It's too complicated. Why? You have one you have either direction or location. If I say go to that location, then yeah, stupid. My battery is gonna die soon. So homing, yeah. If I enable homing, if it works, then I just have to put the character inside my level and the projectile and character, and it will automatically go to it. But the problem is, which he said, and I'll try to like fix it now, is if you enable that, the physics of the object is disabled. So no collision. I cannot add on component overlap or whatever, it's, I don't know the exact phrase, but you get what I mean. When the projectile touches the character dies or something like that. I cannot add it. Why? Because the physics is disabled. Why is it disabled? Because the homing is enabled. And how do I know that? Because I watched a video about a guy that knows everything. And how does he know it? I don't know. Why is there no, like, the battery died. I don't know what I was saying before, but I think it works now. The homing, yeah, the homing works. I guess, I don't know, we'll see when I add more projectiles onto the level. But listen to this now. There's a thing called debugging. And it's, you use it to see where in your code there's something wrong. So you say, okay, here, like I'm gonna make my mark here, and when the code gets to this point, stop, show me, and then I'll see everything else, like in order, what happens next. That's a very powerful tool, and it helps a lot because sometimes there's a lot of moving pieces and you don't know. You know what you need to do, but you cannot bring it to life. And this way you can actually see, okay, I only made 5% of it, but at least I can see in which direction it's going, or is my logic even clear. And I was testing the collision. I can't remember if I already told you that, but when you disable physics, you cannot have collision and blah blah blah. There's a way around it. I knew there's a way around it before, but I could not find that information anywhere, and if I didn't saw it now in this video that I explained to you earlier, I wouldn't have known that, and I would like spend a lot of time on nothing, and probably skip this whole part and make my game in something completely different. And the way around is you actually put the sphere collision box or box collision or whatever you want inside your character or projectile, and then that acts as a collision box. Okay, so I made that and I wanted to test the collision with debugging, and it did not work. So I spent about an hour moving around. Nothing works. Why doesn't it work? I don't know. It should be so simple. And then I saw that I didn't set the debugging tool. I didn't even know that existed. There's like a line on top, and you can actually set the current debugging to be for that blueprint. I mean, that should be automatic, but fine. And now the projectiles, I guess, work. We'll see. I'm not gonna jinx myself anymore. But what I wanted to talk about is, in general, projectiles. In my first game, I didn't have any projectiles, but I had to create a lot of objects in my game and destroy them over and over again every like few seconds. And I used spawn actor or destroy actor or something like that. And only after I made my game I found out about object pooling. Object pooling is, in short, instead of you creating and destroying your actors or objects in your level constantly, you store them. So it's really taxing to spawn and create and then destroy objects constantly. It's not gonna be efficient. And in my mind, I was like, okay, it will probably work if it works on my phone, but it did not. On lower end phones, you could not even play the game because it was so laggy. And so object pooling with double O, you basically create the object in your level only once, probably on level load or start or something like that. And in this case, when the projectile touches the character, you do not destroy it and then create another one. You just hide it and like move it somewhere else, and then so you have to make it not visible. You actually have that like visibility or something like that, and a collision preset. So you have to disable all collisions so it doesn't interact with the world. Basically, you want the projectile to only touch the player for the first time and not continuously after he's been like translucent or not visible. So you only create once, the projectile touches the character, you hide it, you make its collision like it doesn't have any collision, so it passes through everything, and then when you need it again, you just reverse it. You set it up on wherever you want location, unhide it, and make the collision like it was in the first place when it was a projectile. And that's a very important tool. I saw some plugins that actually do that for you, so I don't know, it's $50. I'm not gonna pay for it because I'm making a simple game. But if you're making a big game, then maybe that would be worth it. And or you could learn how to make it in C++ and do your own thing. But yeah, I'll try adding a few projectiles and see if I can activate or deactivate them, and I hope it works.